Welcome back to the Alaskan Gypsy life. I'm Scott Dickerson. Audrey is running the camera here. And we are back at work in port protection on the little beach house that got attacked by not one tree, not two trees, 3 trees. But we cleared 2 trees off this cabin. And you can see videos about that on our channel. And now we're back to work at it, and I think this is the 3rd or 4th video relating to the foundation repairs. Basically, the house was built on creosote pilings, and when it got hit by the tree, the foundation was compromised, especially on one side of the structure. And so we're back here to build some cribbing and get some jacks under to stabilize the house as we move ahead with plans on restoring the foundation. It's been kind of a journey of figuring out as we go what's going to work, what is reasonable to do. And the weather has not been super cooperative. We've had a lot of cold, a lot of snow, a bit of wind, and some rain. And of course, it's wintertime, so we end up working in the dark a fair bit. But this video is going to take you on the next phases of the project. Sit back, relax, enjoy your nice warm house or whatever you're doing. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Scary Scott's haunted house, where the pilings are leaning and we work in the dark. So just started digging under here. I have a whole network of posts and braces. There's braces everywhere. Brace, 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 brace. I got 4 temporary posts on jacks spread around. They're all tied together or across their bottom. They all have at least 2 braces, 45s on them. So basically I have a big square of temporary brace posts on jacks, all braced off, tied into the beams. These are my spreader beams or whatever, temporary cross beams. I know they're not very big, but they're just really compression loading under the beams. They're basically just offering bracing structure at this point. But so I put some weight on the jacks, and I wasn't planning to really lift the building up because I don't know how well anchored these old posts are, and I'm certainly not going to try and rip them out of the ground with my jacks. But I did want to take a bit of weight off of them, load up my temporary post situation here so that I could start digging around the old posts to see how I was going to reposition them. And take a look down here. Basically what I've come to find out is this is one of the main load-bearing posts of the house, and it's basically just sitting on dirt. There's not really anything beneath it other than dirt, gravelly dirt. And I thought it would be deep down in here into bedrock, but it looks like they just threw these big posts on top of a bunch of backfilled junk dirt. And I guess they figured whatever, it all settle down until it doesn't settle down anymore. And there I pulled out big chunks of wood, rotten wood, dirt, gravel. It's not original earth. It's all been disturbed. It's fluffy, light, and got holes and cavities in it, as well as rotting wood that has essentially disappeared. So I'm not sure if I'm down to bedrock down here yet or not. I've been digging. This is where the post is going to end up, somewhere about here. And I was checking out to see if I would hit bedrock, which I'm not sure if I have yet, but I just paused to put another temporary post down to my concrete footer that you can't see, but I poured concrete down there, and so this post as well as that post is on that footer or pad or whatever. So they're pretty solid, but this is pretty sketchy, even for Scary Scott, as they like to call me in the YouTube comments. Even I think this is pretty sketchy. The way that this thing was this post was not anchored to anything. It was just sitting in soft dirt, essentially. But, you know, this house has been here for I think, about 30 years. And quite honestly, if there would have been even decent cross bracing here between this post here and the one downhill, I think it probably would have been fine. It just didn't have any. It had these really funny, super lame cross braces up there that were better than nothing, but it's kind of a joke. So anyhow, not surprised they moved. Took a pretty big impact from 2 large trees hitting it, and so it's going to be easy to make it better than it was, because it was not good. But it did last. So I know a lot of people in the comments are like, oh, it's going to cost $1 million to fix that, or like, you need to tear it all down and redo it. And I would just like to point out that this thing is worse than even I imagined, but it's essentially been here my entire life. So does that mean it's the right way to build? No, but let's not just ignore the fact that it has worked. And the house has not collapsed. It has not fallen in the ocean. I think it's actually stayed exactly where they built it pretty much for 30 years through earthquakes, storms. The waves practically lap at the bottom of this house at high tide when it's windy. And it's sat here fine without even good bracing. So I know people like to way over engineer, and that's cool. But before you go saying it's hopeless and it'll never work, remember that it has worked and it has been really marginal. So not that building marginally is my goal, but also need to be realistic. We don't all have endless money or time, and life is full of risks. One of those risks is usually our houses are not built on the ultimate engineered and built foundations. Try and strike a balance of good enough, safe enough, with the means that you have, the materials and the time and the resources. And my goal in this is to make sure the homeowner knows exactly what she's got going on, so she knows the risk, because that's the most important thing, is that she is aware of what she's got. And I can tell you that I don't think she knew what she had. Nobody's dug these up in a long time, but she's going to know now a lot more, and she will make an educated decision on whether she feels safe in this structure or not. And my goal will just to be to make sure she knows what she's got. And there's a risk involved for sure. A big tree falling down this cliff above us and landing on the house, I think, is more risky than the house sliding downhill into the water. And is she going to address all those issues? I don't know. That's up to her. But I'm here to work on the foundation and make it solid. And there will still be risks involved with living in this absolutely beautiful spot where we can just hear the water lapping on the rocks right in front of the house, watching snow squalls go by and the sun, and it's just really, really a beautiful spot. And I think it's probably worth taking a little bit of risk to be able to hang out here by the wood stove and feel like you're literally sitting on the beach in the wilderness in Alaska. So, to each his own as far as those decisions are concerned. And we all live with some amount of risk, and each person gets to decide what risks they live with. So I'm standing under this house while I'm undermining the foundation. So better get back to work.
I'm not standing under the house.
This is one of the main posts for this house. You can see it's tipped over quite a bit, and I'm just digging underneath it because I have 2 temporary posts right here, one with a jack, one right down to my concrete footer that you can't see, but it's under there. So I'm trying to find bedrock, and as I mentioned, I discovered this post is not actually sitting on anything solid at all. But not only that, see how long this is? As long as my arm. And watch this. So right under this post, look at this. Basically, there's essentially nothing under there. I mean, there's some rocks in there or whatever, but there's also a giant hole. So I don't know if it's bedrock I'm bumping into or maybe just rocks that are under some compression or buried. But one thing is I know is right under this post is a huge void. There's no concrete, no gravel really to speak of. There's some rocks mixed in with the dirt, but it's basically almost worst case scenario. Nothing solid under a load-bearing post for the house. And it's not anchored to anything, and it's not sitting on anything solid. So there you go. Do you think we can make it better than that? I think so. That's vertical. That's not. So this post, this surface of this post needs to come out to about here. Right there. That'll be vertical. So my hole is in pretty much the right spot. So just to reiterate, this edge needs to come to here.
Can you do that one more time?
This edge needs to come to here. That to that. That's how much the post needs to move to become under the beams again. Abalone shell.
Oh, cool. Is it whole?
Pretty much.
I'll take it. Still standing.
What did you say?
The house is still standing.
Do you need me to pass you a bag?
Each time the swell comes in and trying to keep the boat off the rocks. There.
Those are humongous barnacles. The last bag. It disappears and then it doesn't disappear.
Okay, you can get on.
How
Yeah.
do we get?
Can we go a little bit closer to the water? We're gonna go pick up Culvert, I think, at Morgan. Woo! Do you want me to lop it up there by the concrete or?
So, nothing like a bit of beachcombing debris to help you out on a project. Liz's neighbor down the beach a ways, Carl, said he had some culvert, plastic culvert. That's what you're looking at here, corrugated plastic culvert, which many folks prize as a excellent pier piling concrete form, I guess you could say. It's really rigid, super tough stuff, and fairly readily available. It's like a really, really high quality, last forever sonotube kind of thing, and bigger than most sonotubes. So this one is all customized. Got a little break in it down here, but that's okay. But I've got it all customized to fit down into these rocks down here. The rocks are really uneven. This nests right down in there. It's going to keep my concrete from pouring out everywhere. Give me a nice concrete pier, foundation, tube, whatever, piling, post. This post, which is kind of short actually, I needed to come up with something really solid. Ideally connected to bedrock, which we weren't able to connect directly down to bedrock because there's some loose big boulders down there. And it's not sensible to think of excavating all those boulders out to get to confirmed bedrock. So the post had been sitting on dirt for years and years on top of those rocks. So now we're going to connect it all the way down into those rocks with this concrete sonotube, we'll call it. So I'm also going to put some rebar down in there and kind of bend it around into amongst the rocks, kind of a spider web of rebar so that everything is locked together. The concrete's going to fill in all the holes. The rebar is going to tie in to the rocks, so it would take quite something to break this whole thing loose. But mostly we're just trying to have a really good solid footing that's going to have almost all of its force is going to be straight down. I want it stabilized as much as I can, but really just want something that's rock solid, connected to the rock, tied in good, and then I'll backfill around it. We'll backfill back in all of this stuff, and I'm confident this is going to be a lot better than it was for the last 30 years. So that's the plan. It's time to cut some rebar up and kind of poke it into around the rocks, bend it, bring it into our sonotube so that it's all anchored together. Then mix up concrete and fill this thing up. Looks like about maybe 4 or 5 bags or something like that. So. Well, I gotta say, by the time each bag of this concrete makes it into this piece of culvert, it has become quite precious. From its $24 a bag in Wrangell to loading it on the Alaskan Gypsy and hauling it 50 miles across the winter oceans of southeast Alaska, staging it on a barge, carrying it in a skiff, carrying it up the beach, putting it in the wheelbarrow, stirring it all up, and down the hole it goes. But I gotta tell you, it feels like it's worth it. Really giving this cabin something solid with the rebar tying it into the bedrock or the boulders. It feels like it's a worthy project, and I'm grateful to have the concrete, even though it is awfully precious. It's not wasted. Stay tuned if you want to see how this project ends. We'll be releasing more videos as the work continues, and hopefully someday soon we'll have a finished foundation under the cabin and we can move on to other projects. Thanks for watching. Farewell.